Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Thursday, the 27th of January 2022. Thanks for joining me. I want to choose 3 cards today, but I want to choose each one from a different deck. So I'm going to use my deck of cards, the Gregory Tarot, the Swiss Tarot cards, and the Aquarian Tarot. And let's see what the cards have to say. So I'm not going to shuffle these too much. I'm just going to pick a card from somewhere. It's in here. It's so interesting when you can almost like see them hiding. So it's that one. There we go. We've got the Page of Wands. Okay. Page of Wands appeared last time as well. I think I used that deck. Next, the Swiss Tarot cards. We've got the third card of the Major Arcana. That's the Empress. Oh, that's interesting. So we've got a lot of movement here. The Empress is about new beginnings. The Page of Wands, in essence, is completely focused on the future and what's going to happen next. The now is of very little interest of him at all. So there's going to be a strong drive to get things moving, to act, even if you don't have all the details. And I think that potentially could get you in trouble. So I think the first message here is to cool your heels a little bit and not to rush off or to gallop off into something before you have all the details. So listen to your gut on that. And if there is a sense of hesitation that says, hey, hang on a minute here, then please listen to that because it can save you a lot of hassle. Finally, we have, let's see, the Four of Pentacles, which is so interesting because in this case, the Four of Pentacles is saying, hang on, instead of rushing off and galloping off into some sort of potential error. Usually the Four of Pentacles says the opposite. It says you're paying too much attention to the detail. You're clinging on for dear life. Let go. It's not that serious. But here the cards are saying stop. It's like the Four of Pentacles is putting on the brakes. These two are cruising down the road at 100 miles an hour. And it's important to check the pace you're going at and whether you're doing it for the right reasons and whether you have looked at the as much of the info as possible, that you know you're going in the right direction and you're not missing significant details. So the Page of Wands, a court card, someone who's young and enthusiastic, someone who wants to do something big with their life. So I want to be an actor and I want to be world famous and watched by everyone in the world. Or I want to lead a political party. So it's fire. So in astrology, fire has to do with signs like Aries, Leo, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, excuse me. And those are all about doing something that's important and public and life-affirming and exciting and maybe even a bit risky. So the Page of Wands can at times have delusions of grandeur a little bit, as in, you know, I mean, if you look at this figure, he's very youthful. He doesn't look like he's had a lot of experience. So it's one thing to say, okay, I want to learn a skill and a trade and I'm going to be useful and get everything done. But it's a whole nother thing to say, I'm something special and I need to be on the world stage, especially if there's no talent to back it up with. So this again is giving me a warning saying, you know, kind of check yourself in terms of what are you doing here really? Have you got to this situation on your own merit? Do you know what you're doing? Is it prudent to kind of take a big risk? Have you thought of every angle and all the things that could go wrong? Or are you doing this to kind of make yourself feel good and to puff yourself up and to make yourself bigger? So I think on this day, if you get into ego mode and you feel yourself kind of blowing yourself up and saying, oh, aren't I important? Or comparing yourself to other people and saying, I have done more than they have, anything that kind of becomes me versus them, or anything that puts you on a pedestal or isolates you as someone special, unique, and different, you know you're in trouble and that the actions around that kind of thinking are going to be problematic. So the Empress then maybe someone in your life, and that's interesting because usually the court cards often appear as people who kind of bring in certain qualities, and the major arcana cards are fundamental life themes. And the Empress is about new beginnings and creating something that takes on a life of its own. It's being a creator in the most literal way. But I feel that someone is kind of egging you on a little bit. Like if someone, that's the feeling I get, and it's kind of sinister. It's, if you have a friend, I had a friend like this years ago at university. Someone who kind of takes pleasure in the misfortunes of others. And it's a horrible thing, and it kind of takes a long time to catch on to. And then when you do, you're just horrified that you've been subjected to this kind of thing. It's a violation, majorly. And this person used to watch other people fail and seemingly get enjoyment from it. So there's some people in your life who don't have your best interests at heart. And if they see you galloping off in the wrong direction, they're not going to say, hey, stop. That's going to end badly. They're going to say, off you go, have fun. For whatever reason. Some people don't want to get involved. Some people genuinely are malicious. And some people just don't have the good sense to see that you're galloping off in the wrong direction. So if you're feeling a little bit wobbly and you feel like, oh, I need to do something amazing to prove myself here, and then there's a person in your life who's kind of encouraging you to do that, that's the red flag of the day, really. Because it's about self-aggrandizement, if that's a word. And that's definitely the domain of the ego. The other thing with the Empress here, if it's not an actual person who encourages you, the third card of the major arcana is often she's depicted as being pregnant. So it's about creating something that has kind of a will of its own and that you can't stop. It's again that theme of the train has left the station and there's not much you can do about it, which kind of is what this feels like until the train hits a wall. So avoid the crash by, again, pacing yourself. Yeah, pacing yourself. So yes, so this can be this inner drive of I'm compelled to do something meaningful or risky or whatever, and I don't care about the details. And if it is going to be a screw up, then at least I did something. That kind of fatalistic attitude where you really do then hit a wall and you don't care. I think that's the real risk of not being interested in the details and in the consequences of your actions. I'm laughing because when I was at school, I was at boarding school in I think when I was 11 or something, in a place called Bophuthatswana in South Africa. And they did a whole class on actions and consequences. I found it so peculiar. It's like, really? This is what you're teaching us? Why did I get into that? Actions have consequences? Yes, they do have consequences, and you're not going to be interested in those. So the Four of Pentacles is your ability to say, hang on a minute, the details do matter. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and if I get a lot of fines or a bunch of nonsense or complaints from other people, then I'm going to have to spend a lot of time wading through all of that and dealing with all of that. Correspondence, for instance, or problems at work, or in terms of my finances. If I decide it's a great idea to go to the casino and to spend £1,000 on a hand of, I don't know, poker or something, and the next day I have no money, then that's something that you can kind of foresee. There is the possibility to say, hey, if I do put all this money down, I might lose all of it, and what then? So the Four of Pentacles allows you that foresight. And it says, your circumstances aren't actually that bad. So, calm down a little bit. Try and channel this energy into something positive. So doing something that you do enjoy without kind of throwing your whole life up in the air. Or spending time with someone who you haven't seen in a while and having lunch. Or getting creative. Or doing something that involves work, like a performance. Or taking charge of something. Like, try and make this practical. And try not to create these problems for yourself by, excavating every unfulfilled desire that resides within your personality and obsessing about it and say, how can I make life more fun? Because it's not going to be fun. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was going to end up that way, but it's a big warning. It's saying you may undertake certain actions which seem to be a good idea, but truly which aren't. And then you're going to have to go back and backpedal and undo all of this nonsense. Actions have consequences. And look ahead before you rush off. You have great intuition, great insight, great clarity. It's your feelings that are a little bit in overdrive, but you can kind of cool the beast by looking at it rationally and reasonably and saying, is this a good idea? And if it isn't, don't do it. Yeah. And find something else that thrills you. Number-wise, we've got the chords card, the page, that's a 1, and 3 is 4, and another 4. Oh, that's fortuitous in itself, 4 and 4. It means that your conscience is clearly speaking in your ear, and if there are red flags, you're not going to miss them, and you can stop short of some sort of disaster here by not engaging. 4 and 4 in itself then is 8, and 8 is strength and power in numerology. So you have control of the day, and you can decide what pace you go at and what you interact with. And ultimately, the best thing about the Empress is that she's creative and loving and nurturing. So if you can engage with those qualities, you'll cool off a little bit and you'll avoid some sort of problematic circumstance. So I hope you have a fabulous day. If you would like a personal reading, please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, scroll down a little bit until you get to the button that says book your reading. Click on that to order your reading with me. I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology in my personal readings. So if you have any questions about who you are or what's coming up in future or particular things in life that you want answers to, please do get in touch for a personal reading. If you like this video, then share it online, please. Hit subscribe to join us here on this channel and hit the like button. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.